Alright, so in this example problem we have a circuit here, and we want to find the unknown current, EMF, and resistance labeled below. So we need to find E1, R2, and I2. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is apply my junction rule. So if I look down here, in this particular problem we've been given the directions of the current. So I2 flows out here, or I1 flows that way, so this is I1, this is I2, and since everything else has labels, we're going to call this one here I3. So I3 comes along and splits into I1 and I2, so I1 plus I2 equals I3. And at this point in time, I know what I3 is, I know what I1 is, so you see I've substituted them in here, and I've solved for I2, so we found I2 first. Alright, so now to find the missing potential and the missing resistance, we're going to use the loop rule. So the sum of the voltages equals 0. Alright, so I'm going to write my loop rules. So remember, a loop is a closed conducting path, so we have one loop here, and then one loop around here. So I'm going to start with the one on the left here, and when I go around a loop I need to make sure I'm either going clockwise or counterclockwise the whole way around the loop. So I'm going to start here with E1, so I'm going to go from negative to positive, so I made it positive here. There's nothing here. A current by itself, remember we're doing potential, so we need an I times an R or a power supply, so an EMF. It has to be a V, not an I and an R isolated by itself. So go across here, and I come back through here. So there's a resistor here. Now my current here is labeled this way. So the current is going down. I'm also going down as I go round clockwise. So I'm going with the current, which means it's going to be negative. So I'm going to take the 50 times the 0.5, because this is the current going through this leg. Alright, I go back through the junction, so now I'm in I1 territory again. And I1 is going this way, I'm going this way through the loop. So we're going with the current, so that's going to be negative again, and I'm going to take the 20 times the 0.3 amps. And with this loop rule, the only unknown I have is the EMF I'm missing, so I'm going to do 31 volts. Alright, so now I need to just find this resistor. So I'm going to do the loop around the right. So I'm going to start here. So I'm going to go from negative to positive. So that's going to be a positive 40 volts. And then I'm going to go across the resistor. So since this is in the leg with current 2, I'm going to do resistor 2 times current 2. And I'm going with the current. So then it means it's going to be negative. So we found I2 over here, so I'm going to take the 0.2 times R2. Alright, so I'm going to continue along. And I hit a junction, and I'm going to go back down. So I'm going in I3 territory, and I'm going with the current, so I'm going to take the 50 ohms times the 0.5 amps, and it's going to be negative. And then I'm back to around to where I started. Since R2 is my only unknown, I can solve and get 75 ohms.